यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज यमुनातीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव राधा माधव श्री राधे जय राधा माधव राधा जय गौरनिताय मायापुर सत्य जय गौरनिताय जय मायापुर सत्य जय प्रभुपदा 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 शिल प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय गुरुदेवा 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 जय गुरुदेवा जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंद कृष्ण। Read from Caitanya, condensed from your ever well-wisher. This chapter, last instructions. Srila Prabhupada looked forward to travel to America shortly after Janmashtami, which would fall on September 6, 2 weeks from the date of his arrival in England. I want to live a little longer, he said, to make everything more perfect. Will you do this by enthusing the devotees by staying with them? Asked Tamal Krishna. Or is there a specific program? A specific program, said Srila Prabhupada. I want to introduce Varnashrama. At our Peninsular farm, the biggest problem of life is solved: food. He considered the establishing of model Vedic social system on ISKCON farm communities as an important unfinished part of his life's mission. But after Prabhupada had been in London 2 weeks on the day after his birthday celebration, his health suddenly became such worse. This was the first crisis since his coming to England, and suddenly his plan changed. Instead of going to the United States, as he had planned, he now requested that he be taken back to India. He spoke of Bombay. If I live a few more days, he said, let me see the opening of Bombay Temple. We wait here and then fly to Bombay. I have worked so hard for it. If I see the opening and then die, it would be a very peaceful death. And if I live, then I can come back here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda So we bring text to 121 and 122 of Madhya. So I'll continue text 21, then I will recite 122 together. Deve Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Durityaja Mame Vai Prapadante Mayam Etam Tarantite. Translation. This divine energy of mine, consisting of three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Please repeat. Maya, Mugdha, Divera, Nahi, Swataha, Krishna, Jnana, Maya, Mugdha, Jivera, Nahi, Swataha, Krishna, Jnana, Jivera, Kripaya, Kaila, Krishna, Veda, Purana, Jivera Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Purana, Maya Mugdha Jivera Nahi Swatah Krishna Jnana, Jivera Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Purana, Maya Mugdha Jivera Nahi Swatah Krishna Jnana, Jivera Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Purana. Maya Mugdha Jivera Nahi Swatah Krishna Jnana, Jivera Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Purana. Nahi Swatah Krishna Jnana, Jivera Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Purana. Maya Mugdha Jivera Nahi Swatah Krishna Jnana, Maya Mugdha Jivera Nahi Swatah Krishna Jnana, Jivera Kripaya Kaila Krishna Veda Purana. Translation. What? Maya Mugdha, enchanted by the illusory energy, Jivera, of the conditioned soul, Nahi, there is not, Swataha, automatically, Krishna Jnana, knowledge of Krishna, Jivere, unto the conditioned soul, Kripaya, out of mercy, Kaila, presented, Krishna, Lord Krishna, Veda Purana, the Vedic literature and the Puranas, supplements to the Vedic literature. Translation. The conditioned soul cannot revive his Krishna consciousness by his own effort, but out of causeless mercy, Lord Krishna compiled the Vedic literature and supplements the Puranas. The conditioned soul is bewildered by the Lord's illusory energy, Maya. Maya's business is to keep the conditioned soul forgetful of his real relationship with Krishna. Thus, the living entity forgets his real identity as spirit soul, Brahman, and Instead of realizing his factual position, thinks himself the product of the material energy. According to Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.5, यया सम्मोहित जीव आत्मनां त्रिगुणात्मकं परोपि मनुते नर्थम तत् तत्कृतं चापि विपद्यते. Due to this external energy, the living entity, although transcendental to these three modes of material nature, thinks of himself as a material product and thus undergoes the reactions of material miseries. This is the description of Maya's action upon the conditioned soul. Thinking himself a product of the material energy, the conditioned soul engages in the service of the material nature in so many ways. He becomes the servant of lust, anger, greed, and envy. In this way, one becomes a servant of the illusory energy. Later, the bewildered soul becomes a servant of mental speculation. But in any case, he is simply covered by the illusory energy. Out of his causeless mercy and compassion, Krishna has compiled various Vedic literature in his incarnation as Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is a Saktavesh avatar of Lord Krishna. He has very kindly presented this literature to awaken the conditioned soul to his senses. Unfortunately, at the present moment, the conditioned soul are guided by demons who do not care to read the Vedic literature. Although there is an immense treasure house of knowledge, people are engaged in reading useless literature that will give them no information on how to get out of the clutches of Maya. The purpose of the Vedic literature is explained in the following verses. So Prabhupada ki jai. Let's chant the prayers. Om Jnana Timirandasa Jnananjana Salakya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachyadide Satarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Let's repeat translation. The conditioned soul, please repeat, cannot revive his Krishna consciousness by his own effort, but out of causeless mercy, Lord Krishna compiled the Vedic literature and it supplements the Puranas. Actually, there are so many things being talked here in this one verse itself. The first point is conditioned soul, Krishna consciousness, own effort, causeless mercy, and Vedic literature, the Puranas. So many things, isn't it? In one verse, everything comes up. So, just before this, we discussed about the conditioned soul. I think a couple of weeks back, where we try to find out the state we are in is actually very difficult to revive our Krishna consciousness, as the purport says. And Krishna, in his Shaktavish avatar, as Sri Vyasadeva, he has compiled this literature, Vedic literature, for deliverance of people. And then here it says, causeless mercy. So, what does causeless mercy means? Any thoughts? What the causeless mercy is?
Result of some activity.
Like,
It's not as a result of some activity.
okay, yeah, it's not of something of result of any, any activities. That's true. But again, the literature says that the verse says that Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, has compiled this Vedic literature for conditioned soul, isn't it? So, if Krishna, can we take this question as Krishna is biased here? Krishna, the purport says, Krishna being causeless, out of his causeless mercy, he is compiled this literature. Sorry, I'm repeating just to make content very well. To revive this conditioned soul, their Krishna consciousness. So Krishna is merciful here, and he's out of his causeless mercy, he's written this literature to us. But can we say Krishna is biased here? Because still we see people are conditioned and still books are there, isn't it? The literature as Vyasadeva has written are still there. Now it's there. Right? And Prabhupada is, has elaborated to us as well. Books are there, literature is there, Krishna's causeless mercy is there, but still we are conditioned. So how does that, take with each other? Krishna's causeless mercy, then we all should be kind of, at least not nitya, then at least on the platform of bhakti, isn't it? Then how it happens that the books are there, but still there are no devotees, not much devotee, I would say. It's not like no devotees or not much devotees. And why we struggle, I think Pajita Prabhu and Usha Prabhu, they can let us know more about how do you struggle on the streets for distributing the books, it's literature, isn't it? So the books are there. There are a couple of, actually many things. This one verse says about, one is the importance of literature, very important thing. And then Krishna's causeless mercy. And then the conditioned soul. So we understand that we are conditions, that we have at least got through it. But now the point comes is, Krishna has provided all this literature here. And Krishna, he is so merciful that we see in the very first canto of Bhagavatam, like how Vyasadeva was not satisfied after writing all the scriptures. He wrote everything, but still he was not satisfied. And then we all know the story, how Narada Muni come and he revived him. You are missing something. You have not explained about Krishna, about bhakti elaborately, so please expand it. And Bhagavatam comes up. But still, we see the importance of literature is, as Prabhupada mentioned in the purport itself, that there are so many literature, isn't it? If you see the mundane, I won't say mundane, you say this materialistic books, there are so many lines, still we don't know. When we are in primaries, we read everything, isn't it? Maths, science, geography, history, biology, everything. But when you go to secondary, what happens? Streamline. Don't focus there. There are so many things. One line comes out. And then when you go more higher, it's only in one science. Okay, I'm PhD in mathematics. So I don't know anything more about biology. I don't know anything about geography. I know, but very little, limited. It's all gone. So in primary, we have everything. And when it comes to PhD and things, we have very limited, or one focused. So if you see in a similar way, Vyasadeva is being so merciful to us that when Lord Brahma spoke these Vedas, Chaturvedas, it was like, pile of mountains with so many different jewels. And Vyasadeva had what he did is, he took out those gems and segregated those depending upon the Rig Veda, Syam Veda, Atharvaveda, Ajurveda. And then he gave to his disciples and expanded again. But eventually, the lineage or the studies is more focused towards bhakti. It was everything, isn't it? Krishna says that the essence of knowledge is to know me. Veda sarver aham eva vedyo. And this is the principle. Details can be anything. You may go to read Atharvaveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, or whatever you want. Puranas, Itihasas, everything is there. But if you miss the principle, we have missed everything. And however, if we have caught the principle, what Prabhupada has given us very clearly, chant holy name, you got everything. Because the essence is to get to know Krishna. And Krishna being merciful here, saying that by his causeless mercy, we'll expand on this verse a bit more about what causeless mercy is. Who gives the causeless mercy? Is it Krishna or someone else? Before that, let's see that Vyasadeva has completely, and at the end, he's completely on his maturity, he's provided us Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of knowledge about Krishna and Bhakti. And importance of literature comes up here. So the literature we have in this our material world has limitation. It can't speak anything about the spirit soul. It can't speak anything about our next destiny. It can't speak anything about our relationship with Krishna. Prabhupada's many times quotes, we have so many huge universities, but there is none where the science of soul being taught, and which is the essence of everything. Because this life which we are going through is somehow or other outcome of our previous lives. And the way we live this life is defining our next life. So the way we live this life, no one teaches us. What we get from our scholarships, that you can have good knowledge of something specific and you earn money, you live your life happily. But just earning money is doesn't imply that we are happy. The money is kind of the Maya, unless and until it's being used in the service of Krishna. Like very, very basic example we see, someone walking, he says, okay, I could have bicycle or bike, it's really good for me. And then as he got some bike, he says, can I have motorbike? And the desire goes more, can I have the car? Even if person has car, he thinks, so can I have the better car, automatic car, maybe something I can sleep and drive, so many things, so many things, so many things. Maybe you can have planes. So the desire goes on and on and on and on. But unless and until we know the knowledge about Krishna, that Prabhupada mentions in the purport itself, that by understanding the knowledge of Krishna, our material desires will diminish. And that is why the importance of literature comes up. In one of the purport in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says, I think it's chapter 9 or chapter 7 somewhere, says that knowledge without self-realization is useless. You have the knowledge, but there is no self-realization. So whatever the knowledge we have from our academic career, nothing speaks about self-realization. But the scriptures, which is coming from parampara, speaks about our next, our identity, who we are, isn't it? So the point comes up that this is the importance of scriptures by which we know what is good, what is bad. How to know what is good, what is bad? If you see it, Bhagavatam, Canto 5, last chapter. Right. All the description about activities and the results, amazing results, what we get, fried in the pan of oil, being tormented by iron rods. But still, we don't die, isn't it? For fifth canto, last chapter about hellish planets, right? We don't die. We're suffering like anything. We're crying out anything, but we are not dying. No, you can't die. In this material world, if we suffer to that extent, we will die. We will give up our body. But in there, you can't. You can't survive it. You can't, go away as well. So there's a line. So we know that actually something is there. If I do something, then something is waiting for me. And that's how scripture is guiding us, what to do, what not to do. Yama and niyama. Even in the Ashtanga Yogas, yama is first is don't, prohibited. And then go to niyama, follow what it is required. So basic principle is don't do it. And even if you see in many times when we buy some gadgets, there's a big mark, red mark. Don't do this. Don't put your charger, with this high volt. It might explode. So those don'ts are made in bold, highlighted, so that our eyes can catch quickly from the notes itself. So that's our scripture state that what the don'ts we should do for our spiritual advancement, isn't it? That's the importance of scriptures and knowledge. As Prabhupada says, knowledge without realization or self-realization is useless. So how can we get self-realization? We have the knowledge. Prabhupada has given all the books. We're reading it out. But how can we get self-realization? Self-realization will only come through service. Shri Shri Kuralika Mayapur Sasi ki. So the self-realization will come when we have the knowledge. At the same time, we engage ourselves in service. Service is very, very important. Service home, serving home, serving the deities, serving the devotees, serving the temple. When we do service, so it says knowledge plus service equals self-realization. It means what? When we start doing service, we clean our heart. It gets cleaned automatically, gradually, and then we get self-realization, right? So that's one point about the importance of Vedic literature, and uh, and Prabhupada explains very easily, nicely in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam as well that the Kali Yuga people earlier Yuga people, they were Sutithara. So once they hear, they remember everything. But now in this Kali Yuga, it's very difficult for us to remember anything. It's so flickering, so flickering. Chanchalamana, it's always thinking about what can I do next, what can I do next. So focus is very, very minimized here. So that's why, out of His causeless mercy, He has provided this literature. But the point comes is who is providing this causeless? If we say, I'll come back to the first point again, that if we say that Krishna is doing His causeless, out of His causeless mercy, books are there, but isn't it Krishna being a bit biased? Still, we see books are there, but people are not devotees. So, what's the reason? Yes.
I heard in class devotees mentioning Krishna's mercy is causeless, but that causeless mercy works through the channel of his pure devotee. That causeless mercy works through the channel of a spiritual master for a disciple, through the channel of a pure devotee.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, so the causeless mercy, Krishna, He acts through His pure devotees. And as we see all the time in the bhajan, it says, the devotees, the pure devotee, they have Krishna and they can give Krishna. Right? So the causeless mercy comes through the devotees. Is basically, I'll say a nice example I heard just few weeks back. I was hearing. So the devotion in the heart, how it arises is by Mahat Kripa, by somehow, or and you can hear it as Agyata Sukriti. So somehow they're unknowingly serving a devotee, a person. Agyata means unknown. He gets some Sukruti, some piety. It's not piety actually, it's higher than that, but the word piety is used. So that Agyata Sukriti helps this person to take bhakti. And I'll say a nice example. It was in somewhere in United States, while His Holiness Bhakti Samit Maharaj, he was traveling in a car, and he has to put some gas on his vehicle. So the driver, he stopped there, and Maharaj was with his personal assistant. So there was one devotee for taking care of Maharaj. So while the vehicle was being filled with the fuel, at the time Maharaj got down to just adjust his dhoti and maybe his kurta and t-shirt thing, and then he had his bag, right? And then what he did is he gave the bag to the person who was filling the fuel. He says, "Can you please hold for us some time? I need to adjust something, and then I'll take it." And the person he took the hold he hold the bag for maybe you can say 30 seconds or a minute, and then his personal assistant, the devotee, he was there and he was thinking, why Maharaj could have given to me. I was there. I'm here to serve him. He could have given this bag to hold me, or Maharaj could have left the bag in the car itself, isn't it? So what it is that Maharaj actually came out and just gave the bag to the person who is unknown, and I don't know who he is. And this question was, going on and on and on for the devotee. Then eventually, when they started moving, he could not resist. He asked Maharaj, Maharaj, can you please explain this? I didn't get your point. What was the reason? You could have left the bag in the car before getting out. You could have given the bag to me. I was there next to you. But still, you prefer to give the bag to the person whom you don't know. Maharaj replied that we don't know when here it's a lonely place where devotee come here, and we don't know that even if devotee comes here, it's not sure that this person can interact with the devotee. So we don't know. So we have an opportunity, 30-second opportunity to do something, some service. So he hold my bag for 30 seconds. I said him thank you. He said, wow, welcome. So that interaction is what giving him agyata sukriti. Right. So that agyata sukriti he got. So we know very well that in the path of bhakti, uh, the the putting the coins on the piggy bank, it never goes away, right? So that agyat sukrit, small one, maybe 1 penny or 1 pound, whatever it is, that's in his account now, and that account is going to work someday. Small, 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 and sometimes this question goes more. Like sometimes we see we have been cultivating a devotee for long, 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 long years. He moves the place, and then he get in touch with another devotee, and he becomes a devotee. So, for example, you have been teaching, trying to preach a devotee for 5 years, for example. He has not taken chanting yet. Still, you are trying, isn't it? And then the person, he moved to another place, he got associated with another devotee, and he calls you back, Prabhu, now I'm chanting rounds. And you might be thinking, what happened? He had just moved there for just a couple of weeks back. And I've been trying to preach him for 5 years. He didn't pick up his bead bag at all. He didn't buy at all. But now, within a fraction of a second there, he's chanting holy name. What happened? So what happened is his bank was zero. You have been putting pennies, pounds every single day for 5 years. And it was 99 pounds. And 1 pound was put there. So it became 100 pounds. And then he's taken bhakti. So it's not that the next devotee, he is the only cause for making this devotee a devotee, but the one you have been preaching him for 5 years that actually has fructified there. So we don't know how Krishna gives mercy, right? So this is how this causes mercy works. We don't know when it happens. So what we need to do is, as a devotee, we should try to give agyata sukritis to the non-devotees, and that will someday make wonder in this world, right? So this is why there is one aspect of causeless mercy. So the devotee is the one through whose channel this literature comes out. Prabhupada has written all these books for us, right? And we devotees, we make a lot of efforts to go out on the streets and distribute the books to please Srila Prabhupada. And at the same time, the devotees who are buying the books, they turn up to devotees sometime. There are so many examples we have seen. In one of the lecture I was hearing, They're being described that one person, he took a Bhagavad Gita in India, he went to US, still the Bhagavad Gita wasn't packed, and there he got married, then he had children. His son grew up. One day, his son, he just out of curiosity, he said, okay, let me read something. And he somehow he got that book. He started reading it and he became devotee. So a single Bhagavad Gita, the literature of Krishna's book, that's what coming from Krishna anyway. That single book was there for years and years and years and years at his house. But his father brought the book, his son became the devotee. So that is how Krishna's mercy is. We don't know who is going to get benefited, who is going to get this literature and then change his life. Right? So that's how this verse speaks many things about the conditioned soul. They can revive only Krishna consciousness through the Vedic literature, what we get. But rest all the modern literatures, the books, what we have is very difficult. We had something, Babu? Yes, please.
I've got a question.
People.
Oh, I was just wondering, does the person who receives a book, is that the point at which he receives the causeless mercy? Or is it when he actually starts to put what he reads into action when he gets the causeless mercy? Or could it even be that the person takes up devotional service, gets initiated, but then later on leaves because he actually didn't receive the causeless mercy?
Yeah, anything what even in the first case, the person is just took the book. He is interacting with you. That's also he's getting causeless mercy. So as I said that the piggy bank coin is going there, and when it gets fructified, it's complete in the Krishna's hand. Krishna's know very well. It's not a very straightforward equation. You put something and you get a result. It's completely depend on Krishna. That's why I says, not a single blade of grass can move without the sanction of Krishna. So we devotee, we are trying our best, and at the same time we are praying to Krishna as well. Oh Krishna, please fulfill your desire that by through this reading these books they can get elevated, isn't it? So even
I was just thinking, because it's a causeless mercy can be taken quite cheap. That I just gave a penny, so I've got causeless mercy. But where in the process of, you could say the process of receiving causeless mercy starts, so you become fortunate, but there's always a chance you can become misfortunate. Prabhupada says that's even worse than being unfortunate. So the only point where you really do achieve the causeless mercy is when you become aware of your swarup. Because then there's no going back. Up until then, you've been given, I suppose you could say, an introduction to some causeless mercy, but now you have to make your own effort reciprocate. Just like Ajamil, you'd think, oh, he got the causeless mercy, he called out Narayan, and he saw the vision. But that wasn't the point where he got the causeless mercy. The point where he got the causeless mercy was after that, he then performed very strict devotional service. Then he went back to Godhead. Then he got the causeless mercy. Up until then, he just got like an introduction to it.
Yeah. So this relates to the point, like we are talking in one aspect, like devotee giving the causeless mercy, but at the same time receiving and is there. The one who is receiving, is the person is still on that platform to receive the causeless mercy or not yet? So that also, as I was saying, right? We cultivated one devotee here for 5 years, but still till that time, this person was not in a state to receive that causeless mercy. It's coming to him, but receiving it also is there, which is not receiving it yet. But as soon as he goes there, his another penny or pound change his threshold. Threshold was there, still it's going on, but the receiving end has also an effect. So many things. Krishna's mercy is there for sure, and that mercy coming through the devotee to the NS1, and then the receiving end, where we are trying to put something to him, that as soon as that becomes fulfilled, he takes the next step. So certainly the receiving end also plays a lot of role. You are trying to give association to the devotee, but still he's reluctant. He said, no, Mayavad and everything he says was still there. But what did Mahaprabhu did? When he saw the Mayavadis, he never says talk of philosophy. He just said, I know my Guru has said in you are foolish number one, you just chant this, nothing else. And the Mayavadis, the philosophers, they're saying, you are a sannyasi and you should read Vedanta. And what are you doing here? Just dancing like a madman. The Mahaprabhu says, no, my Guru Maharaj says, you can't read philosophy. So this is the remedy for you. And then as soon as they associated with Mahaprabhu's association changed their views completely later on. Right? And they took shelter of Mahaprabhu. Right? Yes, P. Prabhu, you had something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. I had a question on this, like building credits. Say there's a verse, isn't it? That in this endeavor, there's no loss or diminution. But then we see like there might be devotees who stop practicing devotional service, and we also hear about aparad, how it takes us back in the devotional process. So how can we understand these two things together?
Yeah, so that's a very difficult question actually, and difficult to understand in our own limited uh, kind of senses, that what happened to that devotee that he just gave up this path, right? But I was hearing a lecture a long time back. I'm not completely remembering what the point was. It's definitely says that we should be on the platform of judging our own self rather than trying to think about what could have happened to this person, that he was a nice devotee, he was on the level of very elevated state, and then he just gave up thing. So the point is, certainly something would be there would have caused these reactions to him, right? So it's beyond our, at least to me, it's beyond my conceptions to understand what would have gone wrong. So that I would say in that way, like it's really difficult to understand what could have happened to there as well. And you see, many a time we see this very devotees, they very quickly turned up and take the highest path. So definitely something behind the scene is working, and it's very difficult to analyze what could have happened. There are many X factor, right? Like let's for example, someone is here and serving a long time, but something, some maybe you can say as a misunderstanding, and it might hurt himself, and then, okay, no, I won't do anything. I know I've seen the devotees we've been practicing, and in I won't take the names, but now, in one time, it was an Ekadashi day, and I asked, say, Prabhu, it's Ekadashi. He said, no, I don't care anymore. So I was stunned. I said, okay, that's Krishna's blessing. I can't do anything else. I can't inquire anymore. Prabhu, why did you give up Ekadashi? I just lived there. No, so he has already given it up. He said, I don't care anymore for Ekadashi. So that's done. I can't change anymore. He's been practicing devotional service for many years now, but now he says, no, I don't care anymore Ekadashi. So these are things are there, but in my point of view, it's I should be going away back step rather than trying to introspect more what could happen there, and rather when it comes to our stages, okay, I've been doing these things nicely, but what happened to me that I'm getting fall down? Then we should think of more. Then we can introspect ourselves. No, what was the thing that I am going down? It's not the case. We should be going up and up. Why going down? So getting a point. For our own self, we can think of those things, But when we see someone else, some other devotee is going up and down, we don't know if he's going down or not. We can't say as well. So analyze our own stage, and let's not think about the other stages. Or maybe yes, Prabhu can give some more highlight. Mhm.
Up and down all the time. Then it looks like he's not making any progress. 1 minute he's into it, then he's not into it, then he's fired up, then he doesn't do it for 5 years, then he comes back, does it for a year. He said, but if you look at it from the side, then you'll see that he's going over this ground, which is up and down. So he's making progress. He is going forward, but it just doesn't look like it when you look directly at him. He's just going up and down. But from the side, the terrain that he's traversing across that territory, that's just his karma, what he has to go through in life. But eventually, he will get there, you know.
Wow, thank you, Prabhu. That's nice. That's answer then. Yes, we got it. Yes, let's go.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. I think it's stated later in perhaps this chapter, one of the later chapters of the Madhya Lila, that the one price to attain Krishna basically is greed, is lolium. So I was wondering where that comes into the whole equation. I guess it's perhaps to do with the potency of the recipient, but then can that greed overcome the other impediments, the anarthas, etc.?
Yeah, lolium is definitely one stage. But again, if you see the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, "Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate." Vasudevam sarvamiti samatma sudurlava. Lolium is there, but it has taken many lifetimes as well on the behind scene. That's why now he's hankering more. So the desire to hanker, to desire to understand about Krishna was somehow other behind the scene, very small, isn't it? That's the Krishna's Bahunam Janmanam. It's many lifetimes they go through. And now they are hankering more. Definitely, it's one of the part of the equation as well. So, and eventually, Mahaprabhu, there is I'll just read that. There's a very nice Ashtakam where the conclusion of today's discussion is basically no one can become Krishna conscious simply by mundane scholarship. One must be fortunate enough to associate with the devotees and take the steps. And one of the verse where he says that a tiny fraction of Mahaprabhu's mercy is able to deliver all the three worlds. Tribhuvana Pavana Kripaya Lesam. So, a tiny association of Mahaprabhus. Can you imagine it? That's what you see all the Mayavadis, and when Mahaprabhu went to all the South India, even just by seeing Mahaprabhu, the people were turning to devotees. And if you see, on the other hand out, people are unknown about Mahaprabhu. Right. Even in India, if you see with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even I was not aware till 30 years. Unless not like I came to Krishna consciousness, I didn't know who Mahaprabhu was. Right. So, and that this word says just by a fraction of interaction or association with Mahaprabhu, his mercy is so causeless that it can actually deliver the whole three world. But the point is the faith. Do we have faith in these lines or not? Right? Unless and until we have faith, Shraddha is I mean, we are the receiving end, right? We are the receiving end. If someone is playing cricket, if the bowler is bowling, if you don't receive the ball, you can't hit the ball. You have to play the ball to score it, right? So the person Mahaprabhu is bestowing, clearly Mahaprabhu is saying Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Kevalam. Prabhupada says, what the problem? Why can't we understand this simple thing? Still, people goes on speculating and number of things are there, isn't it? So that lolium is another definitely a factor. the causeless mercy, the person's desire to accept this. You may be say, okay, Prabhu, chant the holy name, but I'm not ready. Four regulative principles, what is this? Okay, so not ready yet, isn't it? So it's raining, like see raining is coming, from the top. Rain never discriminate between the lands and the water. Even in the ocean, rain falls. But the point is, are we taking umbrella or getting wet? So that's the point. If you want to dance in the rain, you have to take out the umbrella, tear it away. So the curtain must go off. Then only we'll see. Right. So sometimes we say, okay, if I I can go with more of studies and things. Kunti Mahani says, these are not a qualification to understand Krishna. Having so much of good pious activities, knowledge, opulence, these are not the factor. Just bhakti is there. Bhakti is required. Right? And that bhakti is causeless. Ahituki apratiyata is causeless, and bhakti can only come from the devotee. Yes, Prabhu.
You're also, in answer to that question, like how the dynamic of devotional service works, the loilam is it's intensified by separation. And vipralamba isn't just being separated from the person, it's being separated from the perfection that you want to achieve. So as you start to feel more and more separation, that you more and more want to be a pure devotee, and you more and more realize you're not a pure devotee, that intensifies that feeling of separation. And what makes the loilam even stronger is when you do get Krishna's darshan, and then it goes away, then that's more intense. It's like if you lose 50p, it's not such a problem, but if you've just won £50 million, and then the next day you lose it, you're a lot more devastated than someone that's lost 50p. So that's what Krishna does. He comes, he gives you some nice mercy, and then he steps away, and then you're feeling so wretched and so desperate to try and achieve that again. That's how Krishna pulls you along.
Jai. We are discussing a very lower level. You took us to the very higher level now. Isn't it? Yes, Prabhu.
I'm just wondering as well, you're talking about the devotee, like for instance, Mahaprabhu giving his association to the Mayavadis, and that's because there's mercy. But then the mentality for practicing sadhakas, etc. is, I'm just curious. We should not see ourselves particularly as a devotee. So we're not. I mean, it's about, okay, I'm here to give people my association. Okay, hold my bag, please. Then you get the message. So, what should be our mood?
Yeah, that's a good question, Prabhu. Yes, definitely. When we think of ourselves, we always think that we should be kind of on the lowest of the devotees, right? Even sometimes people they say, I'm not doing the same time, but definitely we should never think that I am giving causeless mercy to to someone. That's for sure. We should not think that. It's like I'll take a mundane example. Like you work for the whole month, week after week, and at the end you get the salary, right? So when we go to office, the real mood is not that I will get the salary. The real mood was that, okay, what's my today's work? Let me finish my work today and go back to home, and eventually after 30 days salary comes up, and then enjoy it, right? So the real mood of the devotee should be what we got instruction from our spiritual master, from Prabhupada, and follow that, and leave the result on the mercy of Krishna. That should be our mood. We can say, okay, now I am 10 years now, I'm 16 rounds every single day, all Mangala Aarti. So it's not that pride of that. The tree, when the mango tree had all the fruits fructified, the branches they come down, and when there is no fruit, the branches go straight of that. It means what? The pride is there. But when we And the devotees who is actually going elevating is actually becoming more humbler and humbler. Right? So definitely devotee never think about that, okay, I am giving causeless mercy. But the point we're discussing that eventually that association works. That association works. And then that's how bhakti is causeless. And bhakti can only receive through bhakti. Bhakti is the cause of bhakti is bhakti only. There is no cause others. If you say Krishna is the one who gives bhakti, then Krishna is biased. Isn't it? Krishna is biased then. Why they are Nitya Mukta and Nitya Siddha? Why are concerned people then? If Krishna is giving mercy, Krishna is giving the devotee bhakti, then why people are suffering? It's not Krishna. Bhakti is the cause of bhakti. That's the essence of bhakti is the cause. That's why it's being said that it's causeless. There's no cause. And if Krishna gives, it's biasing. Krishna cannot be biased. We see Canto 7, Krishna is not biased. So behind the scene, there are so many things comes up. It's my free will. Again, free will comes up. What is the free will? I don't want to accept these things. That's my free will. Free will can be understood in a different way. Free will, we talk about free will, but what the real free will is something different. I'll just give a small example to understand what free will may be. Let's, for example, you have a devotee comes to you and he says, Prabhu, today we have a nice paneer sabji and rice on one side, pulao, and on one side we have just khichdi. So what do you want? Definitely he'll say, okay, I'll take today paneer sabji at least and pulao. And then, let me change the examples. Let's say two sweets, gulab jamun and rasmalai. Right. So both are sweets. Right. Gulab jamun and rasmalai. So you say, Prabhu, okay, I want gulab jamun, not the rasmalai. That's because it's not a free will. Because you like, it's your like and dislike. You like gulab jamun, so you are choosing gulab jamun, not the rasmalai. But as the devotee says, Prabhu, you have gulab jamun and rasmalai, what you want? You say gulab jamun, but then he says, Prabhu, you know what? Gulab jamun is actually from non-devotee is not offered, but rasmalai is offered, is prasadam. Your mind changed. You wanted to have gulab jamun. You like gulab jamun over rasmalai, but now you are seeing rasmalai is better than gulab jamun. Why? The reason being it's not prasadam and this is prasadam. So your free will got changed. You desire to have gulab jamun, but now you are desiring to have rasmalai. So that's how free will is, which is against your like and dislikes. Generally, we think free will is our like and dislike. It's actually beyond that, beyond our like and dislike. So I like gulab jamun. That's my like. I don't like rasmalai. But now, as the equation got changed, because it's not prasadam anymore. So I know very well from Shastras that prasadam should be taken, and I can't take non-prasad. So I'll go with rasmalai. I change my view because of our scriptures, because of our thing. That tweaking the free will, right? I think we can stop here, Prabhu. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Caitanya Caritamrta ki jai, everybody Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
His greatest Balesvara Ramana Prabhu ki.
Srila Prabhupada.